Nitrux 5.1 has officially arrived, and it represents one of the most ambitious steps forward for immutable Linux distributions in recent years, pushing the boundaries of what a modern desktop operating system can look like while staying focused on performance, security, and simplicity. This new release continues the project's vision of building a system-free, Debian-based platform that challenges traditional Linux design, and with the inclusion of the Linux 6.18 LTS kernel, upgraded Hyprland environment, and a suite of powerful new utilities, Nitrux 5.1 is clearly aimed at users who want something bold, fast, and forward-thinking. Unlike many conventional distributions that slowly evolve over time, Nitrux feels like an ongoing experiment in redefining how Linux desktops work, and this update reinforces that identity in a big way. At the core of Nitrux 5.1 is its immutable philosophy, which fundamentally changes how users interact with the operating system. Instead of allowing the root file system to be constantly modified like in traditional Linux setups, Nitrux uses an overlay approach that keeps the base system RAID-only, providing greater stability and reducing the risk of accidental breakage. This means updates are more predictable, rollbacks are easier, and the entire system becomes more resilient to misconfiguration. For users coming from classic distributions, this approach might feel restrictive at first, but the benefit is a cleaner, more reliable environment where applications are separated from the core system. The developers continue to push this concept further, emphasizing a workflow where software is delivered through modern packaging methods rather than the old app-centric model that many Debian derivatives rely on. One of the most talked about changes in this release is the adoption of the Linux 6.18 LTS kernel as the standard foundation. This kernel not only brings long-term support but also includes performance enhancements and hardware improvements, especially when combined with cacheos patches that focus on responsiveness and throughput. The decision to standardize on a unified kernel approach simplifies maintenance and ensures consistent performance across different hardware configurations. Users benefit from improved scheduling, updated drivers, and optimizations that make Nitrux feel noticeably snappier, particularly on modern laptops and desktops. By aligning itself with a cutting-edge yet stable kernel branch, Nitrux aims to strike a balance between innovation and reliability, which is essential for an immutable distribution that prioritizes predictability. The desktop experience in Nitrux 5.1 revolves around Hyprland, a dynamic tiling Wayland compositor that has quickly gained popularity among advanced Linux users. Hyprland version 0.522 introduces new key bindings, support for window blur effects, and various performance improvements that make the interface smoother and more visually appealing. Unlike traditional desktop environments that rely on floating windows and menus, Hyprland emphasizes keyboard-driven workflows, efficient window management, and modern animations. The developers have refined the integration to ensure that everything feels cohesive, from the login manager to the status bar. This transition away from KDE Plasma, which began in earlier releases, marks a major shift in Nitrux's identity, signaling a move toward lightweight Wayland native experiences rather than legacy X11-based environments. The redesigned Waybar interface is another highlight, featuring a modern floating island design that blends aesthetics with usability. Instead of the traditional full-width panel, this new layout offers a cleaner visual presentation while still delivering essential system information. Combined with an updated lock screen that includes battery indicators and media controls, the overall user interface feels more polished and practical for daily use. These refinements may seem small individually, but together, they demonstrate how Nitrux is evolving into a cohesive ecosystem rather than just a collection of experimental tools. Beyond visual improvements, Nitrux 5.1 introduces several new utilities that expand the distribution's capabilities. One of the standout additions is Cinderword, a Wayland-friendly graphical interface for managing firewalled. This tool simplifies firewall configuration by providing an intuitive interface built with MauiKit, making it easier for users to manage network security without relying solely on command line utilities. Firewalled itself is included as a dynamically managed firewall daemon, offering robust protection while maintaining flexibility. The inclusion of such tools reflects a broader trend in Nitrux development, where security features are designed to be accessible rather than intimidating. Another major addition is Adios, an adaptive deadline I/O scheduler introduced at the block layer of the kernel. This scheduler aims to optimize storage performance by balancing latency and throughput. which can lead to faster application launches and smoother multitasking, especially on SSD-based systems. While many users may never interact directly with an I/O scheduler, its presence highlights Nitrux's focus on low-level optimization. The developers are not just tweaking visual elements. They are actively experimenting with deeper system components to improve overall responsiveness. Power management also receives significant attention in this release through the introduction of new daemons like Namic PPD and NX Battery Notify. These tools dynamically adjust the system's power profile based on the current power source and provide notifications about battery health and charging habits. For laptop users, these features can translate into longer battery life and better long-term hardware care. Instead of relying on generic solutions, Nitrux builds custom utilities tailored to its immutable architecture, ensuring tighter integration with the rest of the system. Privacy and networking capabilities are enhanced with the addition of WireCloak, a native WireGuard VPN client designed with MauiKit. This application makes secure connections easier to manage through a graphical interface, lowering the barrier for users who want to protect their online activity without diving into complex configuration files. Combined with PlayerCall, a command-line utility for controlling media players via MPRIS, Nitrux continues to provide tools that empower both casual users and power users alike. Another interesting aspect of Nitrux 5.1 is its focus on hardware validation and predictable system behavior. The introduction of the hardware compatibility validation layer aims to ensure that the distribution runs within a well-understood environment, reducing unexpected issues and improving supportability. This approach aligns with the project's decision to drop official virtual machine support and concentrate on physical hardware. While this may disappoint users who prefer testing distributions in virtualized environments, the developers argue that optimizing exclusively for bare metal systems allows them to deliver a more stable and high-performance experience. Under the hood, many core frameworks and libraries receive updates, including newer versions of Qt and KDE frameworks, ensuring compatibility with modern applications. The Nitrux Update tool system, NX Overlay Root, and various in-house utilities also see improvements, reinforcing the idea that Nitrux is building a self-contained ecosystem rather than relying heavily on external solutions. This philosophy is evident in tools like NX App Hub, which manages AppImage-based applications and emphasizes rootless software installation. By encouraging users to run applications in isolated environments, Nitrux reduces system clutter and improves security without sacrificing flexibility. The broader context of Nitrux's evolution is also worth discussing. Earlier versions transitioned away from the KDE Plasma-based NX desktop in favor of Hyprland, a move driven partly by the lack of long-term Plasma releases and the desire to explore new interface paradigms. This shift was controversial but ultimately paved the way for the modern design seen in version 5.1. The developers continue to refine this direction, focusing on Wayland native tools and lightweight components that align with the distribution's minimalist philosophy. For users who enjoy customization, the Hyprland environment in Nitrux offers extensive flexibility. Key bindings can be adjusted, layouts can be tailored to individual workflows, and the overall experience can be shaped to match personal preferences. However, this level of customization comes with a learning curve, especially for those accustomed to traditional desktop environments. Nitrux does not try to hide its advanced nature. Instead, it embraces the idea that users should take control of their workflow and explore new ways of interacting with their system. Performance remains a central theme throughout this release. The combination of the Linux 6.18 LTS kernel, optimized I/O scheduling, and streamlined system services contributes to a noticeably responsive experience. By removing unnecessary components and focusing on Wayland native technologies, Nitrux reduces overhead and delivers faster boot times and smoother animations. The absence of systemd, replaced by OpenRC and other lightweight alternatives, further distinguishes Nitrux from many mainstream distributions, reinforcing its experimental and performance-oriented identity. Security considerations also play a significant role in the design of Nitrux 5.1. Immutable root file system minimizes the risk of persistent malware or accidental system damage, while tools like Firewalled and Cinderword provide accessible ways to manage network protection. The emphasis on sandboxed applications and rootless workflows adds another layer of safety, making it harder for compromised software to affect the core system. For users who prioritize privacy and reliability, these features make Nitrux an appealing option. Despite its many innovations, Nitrux 5.1 is not without challenges. The decision to drop virtual machine support and focus exclusively on physical hardware may limit its accessibility for some users. Additionally, the reliance on Hyprland and immutable design principles means that the distribution may feel unfamiliar to newcomers. However, these trade-offs are intentional, reflecting the developer's commitment to a clear vision rather than trying to appeal to everyone. Another interesting aspect of this release is how it positions Nitrux within the broader Linux ecosystem. Immutable distributions are becoming increasingly popular, with projects exploring new ways to balance stability and flexibility. Nitrux approaches this concept differently by combining an immutable base with app-image-focused software delivery and custom system utilities. This combination creates a unique identity that sets it apart from other immutable platforms that rely heavily on containerization or transactional updates. For content creators, developers, and enthusiasts who enjoy experimenting with modern Linux workflows, Nitrux 5.1 offers a compelling environment. The dynamic tiling capabilities of Hyprland encourage efficient multitasking, while the integrated tools provide a streamlined setup that requires minimal post-installation tweaking. Whether you are writing code, editing videos, or simply browsing the web, the system's responsiveness and clean design can make everyday tasks feel more fluid. As you explore Nitrux 5.1, it becomes clear that this release is more than just an incremental update. It represents a continuation of a long-term vision where Linux desktops move toward immutability, Wayland-first design, and tightly integrated tools. Every new feature, from the updated Waybar interface to the introduction of Wirecloak and Cinderword, reflects a desire to create a cohesive experience that feels modern and forward-looking. Ultimately, Nitrux 5.1 stands as a bold statement about the future of Linux desktops. By combining the stability of an immutable system with the flexibility of modern application delivery methods, it challenges conventional ideas about how operating systems should work. The inclusion of the Linux 6.18 LTS kernel ensures long-term support and improved hardware compatibility, while the refined Hyprland environment delivers a fast and visually appealing user experience. Whether you see it as an experimental playground or a glimpse into the next generation of desktop computing, there is no denying that Nitrux 5.1 pushes boundaries in ways that few distributions dare to attempt. And as the Linux landscape continues to evolve, releases like this remind us that innovation often comes from projects willing to take risks. Nitrux 5.1 may not be the perfect fit for everyone, but it offers a unique perspective on what a modern operating system can be, blending performance, security, and creative design into a single cohesive platform that invites users to rethink how they interact with their computers every day.